Hi everyone, we're on to day 13 and we're carrying on with our Scandi style decorations being painted on. So I am going to try and place 3 onto here, so you need to make sure that you're overlapping the centre. If you're working on something different to what I am, doesn't matter, you can just put them individually. It's just that I've got 20 sheets and I've got to fit 24 items within those sheets. So I've drawn out a sock shape, a stocking shape, and we are going to wet this. I'm using my round number 6. And then we're going to use some cadmium red. Same as what we used yesterday. I'm reusing the same palette. Just keep squirting a new bit of fresh colour in. And I want a nice wet in wet base. Concentrate on getting some nice edges. So that's looking lovely. Just adjusting any edges just to make sure that I'm happy with them. Rinse my brush out. I'm going to dip into some green. So this green is made with Viridian and burnt sienna, but any green would do. So this is basically your basic complementary colours, and this is going to create the shadow. We're going to follow a similar pattern to the one we did yesterday, which is to pop the shadow on the right hand side. Rinse my brush out, and then we're going to blend that shadow. So I've dried it off. We want this to look like a nice reddy brown. So this is mixing on the paper, and I prefer to mix on the paper because it is much more vibrant than mixing in the palette, but you can mix on the palette as well. With a clean, dry brush, and then I'm going to lift out some light. Keep it to this top section here. Just rinse my brush off again, and this section here. Sometimes if there's a lot of paint, you've got to work it a bit harder and keep going. Till it lifts out a bit. So this is very similar to yesterday. Then I've got the right hand side of the ribbon, a little bit of water, little bit of water. Just be careful you don't take too much water into your stocking. That's just blended nicely. So I'm going to dry that one off. So that's nicely dry now. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of green. Just on the right hand side of the ribbon there, and then I'm just going to dampen that in. So I've got that same light edge and dark edge, and it's breaking those two up. Now I'm going to come back into the red. So I'm going to add a little bit more detail with the red. So we're going to layer, and it's going to start to bring little bits out. So I'm going to pop a little bit, on the toe of the stocking, a little bit on the heel of the stocking. This is just showing you how you can layer those watercolours and get much more vibrancy. I'm going to bring a line through here with a clean brush. I'm just going to, it's a little bit damp, just touch the paint that side, so I've just softened it in, so I've got a hard edge and a soft edge. Just neat that up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry, and I've got a fan brush. If you haven't got a fan brush, do not worry, you can use a splayed out kids paintbrush. What we're going to do is just a tiny bit of stippling to create a bit of texture on the sock. So I've picked up some paint, I've rinsed the brush, I've dried it off first, and then I'm just going to stipple. See, I'm not keen on fans because they create a pattern. However, this works perfectly for a sock because it's a stitch pattern. So I'm just coming down, following the line, dabbing, and it's creating sort of a knitted texture. I'm always looking for easy ways to do things. This is relatively easy to create that lovely knitted texture. Don't have to hit it everywhere, that's just enough, so I'll dry that off. And I'm going to come on with my white gel pen again, any sort of white, Chinese white, white acrylic ink, white gouache, whatever you have will work. I'll pop a link for this pen in the description. I did yesterday. But there's lots of gel pens, so I'm just coming along, creating a little bit of stitching detail really. It's little dashes. The easiest way to do it is a pen. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a little Christmas tree on here. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to swirl, but get the swirls going bigger and bigger and bigger. And then a line is going to come through. We'll have a little pot. There we go. I'll see you tomorrow.